The Chicago Bears have released their first official depth chart of 2023, and let's break it down in this video right here. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears off-season update video, which I'll be doing anytime the Chicago Bears news going on. So subscribe to my channel if you guys want my thoughts and my views on latest breaking Chicago Bears news. The season is only about a month away. I cannot wait until the season starts. It's going to be so much fun. I'll be having weekly videos covering the games before the game, after the game, giving you guys a reaction. So stay tuned for a lot of Bears content. But in this video, I'll be talking about the Bears' first unofficial depth chart, talking about what stands out to me, what doesn't stand out, what you guys should take away from it. Now, it's super early to be taking anything away from depth chart, so this is kind of just a video for fun. You know, a lot of this could change in the coming weeks before the season actually begins, so don't take this video too seriously. But the first depth chart still does provide us a glimpse of who's doing the best in camp at this point, right? Because that's what this depth chart is based on. Whoever's been winning their battles in camp, impressing the coaches, they're going to be ranked higher on this depth chart before the preseason games actually begin. But obviously, the preseason games can also impact this depth chart because the games are more important than actual practice. So let's get into it, okay? So we'll start by talking about the quarterbacks, and obviously nothing to note here, okay? We knew that QB number 1 was going to be Justin Fields. We knew QB 2 probably was going to be PJ Walker. QB 3, Nathan Peterman. He's beating out Tyson Bagent, the undrafted rookie, as of now. I think that Tyson Bagent does face a pretty big climb to make this roster, even though he probably has more potential than a Nathan Peterman because he played in Division 2 in college football. So maybe he could be like a practice squad stash type of guy, you know, for the Bears. I know a lot of people are high on him, but the jump from D2 to NFL is pretty massive, so we'll see if he can show anything in the preseason games. But regardless, if it comes down to Tyson Bagent or Nathan Peterman taking snaps for us this season, the season is already over. So, you know, we really only care about Justin Fields and the primary backup PJ Walker this year. Going to the receivers then, okay? We got the starters, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and Chase Claypool. No surprise there whatsoever. That's a fantastic starting 3 compared to last year, by the way. Love to see that talent there. Then second string, we got Velus Jones Jr., Equanimous St. Brown, and Tyler Scott. So pretty interesting that Velus Jones has made his way to second string because, you know, I know some people thought he might be a cut candidate this year, but, you know, also judging by his placement on the kick return spot, which I'll talk about later, I think Velus definitely is going to be making this roster because he also is, you know, a second string receiver, not like a third string receiver. Then behind those guys, we got Dante Pettis, Tyler Scott. Again, they put Tyler Scott in 2 different spots, second string and third string. And then we got Doris Fountain. Then fourth string, you got Isaiah Ford, Nasimba Webster, Joe Reed, Aaron Cruikshank. And again, guys, the only thing to note here is that Velus Jones is ahead of Dante Pettis, which I think is pretty big because I think that Velus Jones and Dante Pettis will be fighting to make this roster at the end. I think that EQ St. Brown is basically guaranteed to make it just because I think they really value his blocking ability, and he also had, you know, some nice connections with Fields last year. So I know some people are going to hate that, but EQ, I think, is making this roster. Velus Jones also has a good chance. Dante Pettis on the outside looking in right now. I'm not looking as good for him. And then the other guys, you know, there's a very, very small chance they even crack this roster. They could be practice squad guys. Going to the offensive line, so we got left tackle Braxton Jones, left guard Tevin Jenkins, center Cody Whitehair, right guard Nate Davis, right tackle Darnell Wright. No surprise with the starting 5. I mean, it's pretty nice to have a starting 5 that's already set in stone at the beginning of camp and not, you know, being made during camp. Okay, we already knew these guys were going to be starting before the season started, and that's what's happened so far in camp. Second string, then we got Larry Borum, backup left tackle, Alex Leatherwood, backup left guard, Lucas Patrick, backup center, Jatari Carter, backup right guard, Aviante Collins, backup right tackle. Then third string, you got Robert Haskins, Gabriel Hui, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Doug Kramer, my boy from the Fighting Illini, Dieter Eastlin, Kellen Deich, and you got Josh Luggan, Roy Mabiteka. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that again, but that's the offensive line depth chart. And again, nothing really to note here because we already knew these guys are going to be starters at the beginning of the season. So it's no surprise, obviously, that Darnell Wright, the rookie, is starting at right tackle, Tevin Jenkins at left guard, obviously Cody Whitehair starting at center. The only thing to note here maybe is that, you know, Doug Kramer, 6th round pick from last year, is on the outside looking in to make this roster because he is a third string center. Not a good chance he makes this roster at this point in time, especially with Lucas Patrick's veteran presence on this team and the ability to play guard as well if need be. So, you know, I think that Lucas Patrick definitely is going to be making it if he stays healthy, but Doug Kramer, might be a cut candidate or a practice squad candidate. So we'll see what happens with that. But going to the running backs, then we got Khalil Herbert, first string running back, Deontay Foreman, second string running back, Roshan Johnson, the rookie out of Texas, third string running back. And then after that, we got Treston Ebner and Travis Homer. And not surprising either, guys, because I knew that they would value Khalil Herbert's experience in the system, his seniority in the system, as opposed to a new guy in Deontay Foreman or a rookie in Roshan Johnson. But I do expect this depth chart to change throughout the season. And also, it probably won't matter that much because it's going to be RB by committee this year. So we're going to have some weeks in which Roshan Johnson probably gets the majority of the carries. We're going to have some weeks in which Deontay Foreman goes off or Khalil Herbert. I think they're all going to be sharing carries in this backfield because each of them brings something to the table. Like Khalil Herbert is the speedy, efficient runner. Deontay Foreman is more of a bruising guy. Roshan Johnson is an all-around back, very good pass protector too. So there's room on this, RB rotation for all these guys. And I think that all of them will be playing and contributing to the Bears run game this year. So, this depth chart is definitely going to be changing eventually, and it probably doesn't matter that much anyways. But going then to the fullback, Khari Blasingame and Robert Burns. Okay, obviously Khari Blasingame is going to be making this roster. We extended him to, I believe, a 2-year contract. So, this scheme does require a fullback. So he's going to be making it. And then finally, tight end, we got Cole Kmet, number 1, Robert Tonyan, number 2, Mercedes Lewis, number 3, Steven Carlson, Jared Pinkney after that. And again, there's nothing really to talk about here. Okay, we all knew that Cole Kmet, being 24 years old, being given big money by the Bears before the season started, was going to be the number 1 tight end. We got Robert Tonyan, the pass catching tight end. We got Mercedes Lewis, the blocking tight end. And then we got, Steven Carlson, Jared Pinkney, trying to make the practice squad. Switching over to the defense, let's talk about the defensive ends first. So we got DeMarcus Walker, first string, Yannick Ngakoue, first string. Obviously, we signed both of them during this offseason, 2 of our biggest free agent signings. After that, Dominic Robinson, the second-year player, Rasheem Green, third string, DeAnthony Jones, Terrell Lewis, and then other fourth string, Jalen Harris, and Trevis Gibson in fourth string. And the big takeaway here, guys, is that Trevis Gibson is on the outside looking in to even make this roster. Okay, he's behind guys like Terrell Lewis, DeAnthony Jones, Rasheem Green, guys that just got here recently. Okay, Trevis Gibson has been here for like 3-4 years now. It's gonna be his 4th year this year, and it's a contract year for him, and it's not looking good for him to even make this roster right now because clearly, what the Bears have seen out of him in camp has not been enough to, warrant putting him on second or third string, which honestly has been surprising to me because back in the day, I was kind of high on Trevis Gibson, but obviously last year was a bad year. I thought maybe he could bounce back after that year, but it kind of does seem like he's maybe not the best fit in a 4-3 scheme, and they just don't like what they see out of him. So, Gibson could honestly be cut. That kind of sucks, but we could see that happen. And then Dominic Robinson is still second string, which, clearly shows how big they are, how high they still are on him, even despite a bad rookie season, because he was one of the rawest prospects in the NFL draft last year because he only played the position for, only a handful of years. So looking pretty good at edge right now, at least compared to what we had before the Yannick signing. So that's the edges. Going to the defensive tackles, interior. So we got Justin Jones, 3 technique. We got Andrew Billings, the 1 technique. We got Gervon Dexter and Zach Pickens behind them, the rookies in the 2nd and 3rd round that we selected. We got Travis Bell, Bravion Roy, 3rd string, and then Andrew Brown on 4th string. And nothing much to talk about here. Maybe eventually we'll see Gervon Dexter or Zach Pickens challenge the veterans for their starting defensive tackle spots. But especially beginning of the season, it's going to be the vets that win out and get that starting spot because they have the experience in this league. Going to linebacker after that, we got TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, and Jack Sanborn starting in the middle of the defense. Behind them, we got DeMarquise Gates, Noah Sewell, Dylan Cole, and then 3rd string, we got Micah Baskerville, Buddy Johnson, and Kiani Dang. And again, not anything too surprising. I mean, this whole depth chart has not been too surprising in all honesty because we kind of knew this going into this year. Like Jack Sanborn coming off a pretty solid rookie season in which he only started a handful of games but looked pretty damn good in those games, was going to be getting the starting nod when we go with 3 linebackers over a guy like Noah Sewell, who, even though people are high on Noah Sewell, he has to take that spot away from Jack Sanborn. That's what happens when you have good talent, good depth at a certain position. Okay, guys that are talented sometimes have to sit because we have so many other more talented guys in front of them. So really good to see this, quality of talent at the linebacker spot for the Bears. But then going to cornerback, so we got Jalen Johnson first string, Kyler Gordon first string as well, Tyreek Stevenson second string, Terrell Smith second string. Behind them we got Greg Stroman Jr., Josh Blackwell at third string, and then Jalen Jones, Macon Clark, Michael Ojemudia, and Kindle Vildor in other at fourth string. And obviously we're going to be in nickel a lot, so Kyler Gordon probably moves to nickel cornerback, and then Tyreek Stevenson or Terrell Smith, whoever wins that job, moves to outside cornerback in that scenario. But it is kind of interesting that Terrell Smith and Tyreek Stevenson have both moved to second string, especially Terrell Smith being a 5th round pick. It clearly shows that they are super high on the 5th round pick out of Minnesota, because, you know, he has shown a lot of flashes of potential in camp, and the Bears were high on him even after the NFL draft, before he started playing on the field for the Bears. So, you know, they clearly are giving Terrell Smith that chance to win the other outside cornerback job, you know, when Kyler Gordon is in nickel. And the other big takeaway is that Kindle Vildor might be cut this year, and I know that's going to be making a lot of Bears fans pretty happy. He did improve last year. I will say, like, last year he did get a lot better than he did play in 2021, but that's not really saying much, right? Because in 2021 he was one of the worst cornerbacks in the entire NFL. Last year he was not as bad, but not good either, and they probably like the potential of young guys like Josh Blackwell or you know, Terrell Smith or Tyreek Stevenson a lot more than they like Kindle Vildor, who was the last regime's guy. He was Ryan Pace's guy. So I guarantee you, when the Bears cut Kindle Vildor, if they do cut him, he's going to be signed immediately to the Atlanta Falcons. King Pace will do it again. He's going to be signing his old guys. Probably Travis Gibson too is going to be getting him back too if we cut both of them. But, you know, that's what adding talent to your secondary looks like. Okay, guys that started last year because we just had nobody else, they're going to be on the outside looking in to make this team now because we have so many better guys in front of them. But lastly, going to the safeties, we got Jaquan Brisker, Eddie Jackson starting safeties, Elijah Hicks, AJ Thomas behind them, Adrian Colbert, Kendall Williamson behind them, and then Brillon Trahan on fourth string. And nothing really I want to talk about here. You know, Elijah Hicks was the 7th round pick from last year. He's right now the backup safety, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. You know, last year when he did have to come in late in the season, he did not look that good, but that's, you know, also partly because our pass rush was so bad. At the end of last year, we had virtually no pass rush the entire year, especially the second half of the year. So, you know, all the secondary did look bad at points, and, you know, he was kind of raw last year too. So we'll see if Elijah Hicks can take a step forward this year. AJ Thomas also kind of the same. Like, I'm not too high on him. So, like, the backup safeties kind of do make me worried at this point. We'll see if we sign anybody, but that's the entire defense. And then finally going to special teams, we got Trenton Gill, the punter. We got Cairo Santos, the kicker. Long snapper, Patrick Skills, holder, Trenton Gill. And then kick returner and punt returner both is Velus Jones at first string. Then for the kick returner spot, we got Khalil Herbert, Treston Ebner, Tyler Scott behind Velus. And then at the punt returner spot, we got Dante Pettis, DJ Moore, and Eddie Jackson behind Velus. And big takeaway, obviously, is that they are super high on Velus Jones to still be the kick returner and punt returner too. For the Bears this season. So far, he has looked a lot better in camp. You know, catching punts, fielding punts. He hasn't had like any crazy drops or any crazy fumbles, I would say. But you can't tell if Velus has actually improved here until the games start, okay? Until the lights are shining down on you on Sunday Night Football or whatever, you know, in front of the bright lights, in front of an audience of 60,000 plus, when there's actual pressure on you, then we're gonna see what Velus Jones is actually made of. Because obviously anybody can catch a football. Even a kid in Pee Wee football can probably field a punt, field a kick, but the question is, can he do it when it actually matters? We're not sure if Velus Jones can do that yet, because we haven't seen him do it when it actually matters and succeed at it. But I am optimistic, I would say, because he is one of the most explosive guys I've seen in the NFL you know, over the past couple years. Like last year, he did actually rank number 3 in the league in terms of average kickoff return yards per kickoff. So when he actually did get the ball out, especially on the kickoffs, he did take it pretty far. Like he got to the 40 multiple times. He had one where he broke it off to the, you know, opposing team's 20. So he had like an 80-yard return. So he had some really good returns last year. The question is, can he have that ball security? I really hope he can, because he'd be a game-breaking weapon for the Bears on the special teams this year, if that's the case. But that wraps up the video, guys. Leave your comments down below. What do you guys think about the depth chart? Do you guys disagree with the coaching staff anywhere? Do you agree with them? Let me know your thoughts down below. The first Bears preseason game is only a few days away at this point. It's going to be this Saturday against the Tennessee Titans. I cannot wait. I'll be having a preview video for that. Probably you know, tomorrow or the day after, so be on the lookout for that. But Enjoy your night, guys. As always, bear down.